Hello, what up, Rorq? Uh, can you please state your name for?
Yeah, Stephen Holmquist, and I'm from Arkansas, which is in the United States.
Yeah, I've heard of it. So I'm Luis. yeah, yeah, I've heard of it. I'm Luis. I'm from Mexico. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna ask you a few questions about a topic that is related
Okay.
to my project. I hope you're fine with it.
Yeah.
Okay, let us start. Uh, what is your perspective on racism?
So I first off, I will come out and say that I am very. I think it does still exist in lots of places throughout the world. I think it is a problem. Many people try and act like it's not a problem, especially in the United States. For those are who are in the you know well-off groups, like to think that it doesn't exist, but it's very very prevalent and problems, especially recently in the United States. There's been a lot of turmoil
Yeah,
over that, and to take seriously and think about how they are affecting it.
yeah, like the United States. I think it's one of the most racist countries at the moment. Like you could say Middle
Yeah.
East, but like or Asia, but the continent, but like the United States really shows like even the
Hmm.
president's tweets like are really like weird, and the fact that he cannot even what's it called call out, if you can call it that way, white nationalist group, like it's really something
Yep.
like you have to ask yourself some questions.
It's strange. It's
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
uh, how did you acquire this perspective?
I think part of it is from my upbringing. My parents, um they made sure that I was born, how they uh how much money they had, the color of their skin, where they're from, anything that, and everyone has the same innate worth, regardless of what language they speak, how they act. Person is valuable and should be treated the same. So then I've seen that a lot of people look and think because of the where someone's from or how they act that they're worth, especially with um, how the world is set up, that people who are not born in the racism that's throughout society, it's harder for them to advance and harder for them to succeed because of where they're born, and
Yeah.
that's something that I've just seen throughout my life.
Hmm. Okay, we can go to the next question. What is the impact of racism on your personal life, if you had
Um,
any? Like,
yeah. So I have been. I've seen some people make racist comments and you know are outwardly racist. I believe I've had a good amount of friends that want to fight um, for everyone the same and to help the oppressed groups. Um, but of course, I've seen it in my country, and especially in the South,
yeah, the South is really has
are
a
racist.
history for racism. Like
Yeah,
they
it
they
does for
I think they
sure.
were the ones that were part of the Confederation, I think.
Arkansas, I don't. Yes, the Confederacy.
Yeah,
A lot of the states in the South were.
like
Uh,
they fought to keep slavery a thing. Like that's really something. Like man,
mhm, yeah.
you
Yeah.
cannot make this
So
stuff
that's
up.
so
Like
definitely goes down through generations, and there are some people that still believe that. So
Yeah.
I've seen that around me for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Uh, Next, what are your beliefs about the issue in your peers group, family, and community?
Um, there definitely are problems, even though some people might want to believe that there aren't any problems with societal racism, and but I think that in my at least my peer group and family, um, beliefs that racism still does exist, and that we need to be working to improve ourselves and those around us,
Yeah.
be better about that. Even though if we don't realize, even if we're not outwardly racist, we need to make sure that we're taking a stand against. And I think that's really important for people to realize that, just even if you're just standing by and watching it happen, doing anything to help. So you could say, yeah, I'm not being racist, but you might not be anti-racist if you're not fighting against it.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that point. We can go to the next one. Do you believe that there are any people or groups that promote racism?
Especially in the South, the
Yeah.
most notable is the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan,
Oh
and
yeah.
their headquarters, that there's a town that has billboards that say if you're black, and there are people that will outwardly be racist in those, and if you are not white, and so I haven't witnessed it first. I've heard stories of people that have driven through that I know that are African American, and have driven through and gotten yelled at
Yeah.
of their skin color.
Is
So I
Ar-
think that's
is Arkansas part of the
unbelievable.
South?
What?
Is Arkansas part of the South, or it's in the middle? Like,
It's to the right of Texas. If you know where Texas is,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's east of Texas.
Yeah, it's up on the north, in Mexico, on the right one. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
So I imagine that there are several racism people on Arkansas, like such as being outwardly
Yeah.
racist.
It's crazy that people. To me, it just doesn't make any sense that someone would believe those things and act that way.
Yeah,
But
like
2020,
yeah, like at a point you have to ask yourself like, why are they doing this? Like at a certain point, it has to stop being fun or at least entertaining.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
Like it.
it's terrible,
Yeah, it's just like cringe behavior at that
man.
point.
Yeah.
Mhm. Next question. How do you think these groups acquire this perspective or beliefs? I mean, we already know about the South that they have a history about racism and slavery.
Yeah.
But other than the South, how do you think these groups acquire this kind of perspective?
I'm guessing. I don't
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible for you to know.
from
That'd be
their
weird.
parents, and yeah, from probably their parents and their family, that those around them believe that, got it from their parents and their family. I don't know. I don't think that's a normal thing that people are born.
Into racism?
Someone wakes up and is just saying, yeah. Someone just is born, and they become an adult, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm
Like, it's
better than
not a
this
default
person because my
setting.
um
Racism is taught, so
yeah.
it has to
So
be
I
taught.
I feel like it's taught from the what their parents or their friends say, and they're like, okay, I'll go along with that.
Yeah,
Um,
at the end of the day, we follow what our parents do, or at least we try to stray away from that when we
yeah.
know that it's not correct, or at least we
Hmm.
feel like it's not the right way. At least in my
It's probably
opinion.
comes from wherever you're born and
Yeah,
who you're
because there
around.
are
You
some
know.
countries which are very family driven. I imagine the Middle East. I think it's the Middle East,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
they really care about family. Not like unlike the U.S. in which they literally kick you out at 18. Like it's like, man,
Yeah.
hold me
The
out.
United States is what's it called? Where each person individualistic. That
Mhm.
each person is
I feel like they
the
force.
most important in your life, and everything you do should be for you.
Yeah, I feel like they force individualism in the United States, in my opinion. Like, because I see a lot of people like, or at least parents that try to kick you out at 18 or when you forcibly, like, it's like, let
Yeah.
me out. Like, you don't even have a work,
Now I don't have to deal with you.
a
Go
job.
go
Like,
do your stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like at
So
least here in Mexico, I don't hear many cases of that. If any, like, we at least
yeah.
here we can actually help a homie out. That's the message for Rorq. Okay, we can go to the next one.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. What is the economic, environmental, and social impact of the issue on your community or your country?
I think the biggest thing is just it people that should be working together and helping each other, and if one group is struggling or one person is should be picking up. But I think with racism, it divides people who should be friends and should be helping each other, divides them to say, it's me against you, uh, rather than me working with you to help solve this. And it comes out economically in the way that the power structure is. One group is poorer than other groups, and where you're born and the statistically speaking an impact on how much money you make and where you live and your opportunities in life because of the way that um, things are set up racially. And I think people that are born into an oppressed group will be, angry at those who um, aren't helping them out because it's each other out and
Yeah,
to
like
support those who need it.
some people
Um,
that are colored, they are already born and they are already at a disadvantage. Like, what is that? Like, man,
yeah, yeah,
they
like
haven't even done anything to you. Like,
yeah,
you're just socially
to get to a
contracted
place where
to.
someone like me was born into. I know I was born into a privileged household where I had two, and they could put me, they could raise me and put food on the table and give me clothes. And there are children that are just born and think, wow, I can't wait to see what's for dinner. They'll come home and be thinking, am I having dinner?
Mm,
Some people, that's because of the color of their skin and where they were born. And I just that really hurts to know that because of something they can't change,
yeah,
and that some people push that. Like some people agree with that blows my mind. It makes me so angry that people would believe that because of the color of your skin you're worse. Or so I think that's made a big impact on the United States, and people are starting to fight against it.
yeah, like the BLM movement. Like,
hmm
socially, there's you can see it on the news. Like
I think
every.
that people, yeah, I think make a long term change for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. How was school like in the south? Because I know you experienced this
About it,
firsthand.
yeah.
How was school like?
Um, so the high So I was actually homeschooled. Uh,
Oh.
and so this, but I played sports at a high school that I played at was, um, I think it was like 40% African American and like 30 um, white kids, and so I got a very it was weird for me to the school and play football and play soccer where I was I wasn't the majority, and I got to learn a lot about different, really struggled when they went home. A lot of them would walk home from school because they had a single parent who was working all. They stayed late for football, and there wasn't a bus going home. They had to walk, or they had to get a ride from someone. And that really opened, how racism impacts society and these kids who are just trying to graduate high school
Yeah.
and they have to deal with stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's terrible all across the country for a lot of kids that are born in places like that, and they have one, and they might get 1 or 2 meals a day, and that's it. Where if I went home, I could eat however much I wanted, and I would be okay. One there, and seeing that, and there was a lot of out there were some racist kids at the school, um, and so I'm sure in a school where majority, it would be a lot easier for them to. But the people that I heard of that said racist things just got beat up. So
Nice.
I'm sure that in a school where it's mostly white kids, that racism's a lot, like it's a lot worse because they're being scared.
Yeah. Pretty much the last question, last but not least. How do you think racism is present in
I don't.
Mexico?
Hmm. Um. Try to about racism in Mexico. I've heard I've heard that it's this like it for those who are born into a lower class. Is it? I feel like
You're cutting out for me.
they're.
I don't know if I'm cutting out for you.
Oh, sorry. Uh, I don't know. I was just saying I don't actually know a whole Mexico. I know there's some really poor parts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
There are some parts that are really bad. Like Mexico City, I think has it the worst
really
because
struggled to.
it's very
Yep,
populated.
because my mom lived in Mexico City for a bit about how in Mexico City they do struggle a lot in different places, and so
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Mexico City
is there
doesn't
is there
has
a
it the
lot of
worst.
racism in Mexico?
What did you say? You cut it out for me. What?
Oh, sorry, I can't keep cutting out. I was just is there
Oh man.
okay, here, I'll type it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good, I guess. Is there a lot of racism in Mexico? Um, I haven't experienced it on first hand. I'm sure there is like, there's no way there is not. Like, there has to be. But the thing is that we are not very open about it, if you could say it that way. We are not. We don't show it as much as we could. Like in the
Yeah,
U.S., like in the South states, like they just outwardly say stuff that it's like really, really screwed up. But up in here, like in the US, you can say some stuff about some things that could be considered racist, but here in Mexico, they could be considered funny. Like they're not necessarily used for to hurt someone, but they are more like in order to make a funny comment, if you could call it that way.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sure there is. Like, I think racism in here in Mexico is not about your skin color. It's more about social class and what's it called?
hmm
Uh, what culture are you from? Like, such as indigenous, which we know that the South has a lot of indigenous
yeah.
people. Like in here in Mexico, I don't think it's much about skin color, because we don't really care about that. It's because it's not really prominent here in Mexico. If you are like more dark skin, we call them prietos up in here. Like we call them prietos or morenos or morenos, but it's not.
I've heard that Morenos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've heard.
I could be considered into that group, but like it's not like
Yeah.
we make those people feel less. In fact, you can you can actually identify better as a Mexican if you are moreno or prieto, because that's actually what could be considered our natural skin tone, if you could call it that way. Because everyone that is white
Okay.
here in Mexico, like you know that they come from, well, you can actually identify them with a higher class, if you know what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because the reason we can trace it back here in Mexico, like up all the way up to the independence. Like we were conquered by the Spanish, and like actually before, what prietos, and they were called criollos, people that were born here. Like they were considered less than the actual Spaniards, although they were sons from Spaniards but born here in Mexico. They were considered less only for being Mexican. But nowadays, like being white or prieto, like it's really whatever. But in here, it's more about whether you are from indigenous background or higher class. Like you can see it here in where I live from. Like the higher class, it's I live in a state where people have money, like really have money, like really have money. Like
Yeah.
we have here, what's it called? We call them fraccionamientos here in Mexico. It's like a private place where there are a
Private
lot
school
of what
club, like ha- Fraxiamentos.
fraction. I can type it up to you.
Okay, okay.
No problem. We call them this fraccionamientos to a place where you can call it a private, but there are a lot of houses there.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like a
Yeah,
street.
okay.
You
We
could call
have
it.
we have something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. Uh, Here in Puebla, where I live, you're like you cannot even call them fraccionamientos. That's really that's that's a downgrade to the maximum. Like
Okay.
they are something else. Like you can see mansions in there. Like there are departments. There's a golf course in one of these fraccionamientos, you could call them, in here in Mexico, in my
We
state.
call those gated communities.
Oh, oh, yeah. I'm sure
And
how.
so to get into the street, and it's got all these super nice houses, and you have to live there.
Yeah, like I live in one of those. Like
Okay.
my house is not bad, like by any means. It's not bad, but like man, like the houses in those gated communities, which at that point they are not gated communities, they are another city. They are really big, like really, really big. Like there's no, the houses are really expensive. Like I think even the governor, the former governor lives there. Like I can't even send you the place, and like it's on another level. Also, we have a here in Puebla. We have what's it called? It's not we have some place called Lomas de Angelopolis, which is at this point it's another city. Like it's a gated community, but inside that gated community, there is like a mall. There is a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. There are restaurants, there are nightclubs, malls. The Burger King there, it's
Gosh.
yeah, like it's really really big. The Burger King in up in there, it's pretty good. I can vouch for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
This
think
is
I think that's the only Burger King I've
look like
seen.
here in Arkansas. Yeah,
I think that's the only Burger King here. Yeah, like
good golf course neighborhood.
yeah, like it's really. I can send you the website of this place, La Vista. It's called yeah, like it's called Country Club, like but like people live there, like it's another level. Just by the name, you can actually imagine like it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I think you can even open it on the opening page. It's like you can imagine what kind of houses there are there. I had a friend there which lived there. Now he lives in what it's considered Lamas Angelopolis, which is the second best thing in here, aside from that. But like La Vista, he lived in a department, but he couldn't actually afford it, if you can call it. He lived with his family. He couldn't really afford it, but like uh, he his mother is friends with the person who was renting the department to them. So it's like they got it pretty cheap, and not gonna lie, like it's pretty good. Like he invited us there a few times,
Yeah.
and like
I think
you
I
gotta
think I
know.
might have found the website. La La B
Like,
no, Querétaro. Is that
Querétaro,
it?
no,
Nope. Okay.
no,
Well, I found one else that's
Querétaro.
that say okay, that's not it then.
I DM'd you the website, like just by the what's it called. You can imagine what kind of place it is. Like
I
the
just found it. There you go.
like the apartment complex where my friend lived. It was pretty big. Like his house, I don't know how big was it. His
It's
apartment, but
awesome.
like he had it was decently big. You know. Also, the
Mm.
apartment complex had a gym, a place where you can store kids. I don't know
Wow.
what's it called in English.
Like
We call them guarderías here.
okay. Yeah.
It's where you leave your kid off.
Something else?
Man,
Yeah, we call it a daycare.
that word. That it's like a daycare. Like they had a pool. Like it's really stacked in there. Like
Oh,
it's really
wow.
like it's really big. Like for real. And that's just an apartment complex. Like it gets bigger. I think there are multiple
That's
apartment
great.
complexes, and the houses like you can see a house that can store up to 10 cards. Like it's really crazy in
Oh
there.
my gosh.
And when you compare like the state in which I live in comparison to like the state down south, I think the one that has it the worst is Chiapas. Like it's really really bad.
Yeah.
Chiapas is has I think it has very various indigenous communities, and
Okay.
sadly you can tell like you can tell right off the bat like
Yeah.
it's really bad
Start looking at it.
down south. Down south. I think the more you up the north,
I can see
it gets
that.
better. That's a tendency I'm seeing up in here, also in the U.S. The farther up the north, the better it gets, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there. I would agree. There's South. Like Texas has a lot of nice cities. Um, so does Florida.
Yeah, I
But
imagine. No.
with you for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome.
That's pretty much it. Thank you, Rorq, for
I'll definitely be using that. Yeah,
yeah. Thank you for helping
I'll
out a
definitely be
homie.
using that phrase. Para que
¿Para qué cuentas?
I'll use that tomorrow.
What's your work?
Yeah.
What's your work? Like I mean,
Más español, pero no, no, uh, quien habla español.
yeah, I understood that. Hypers. What do you for? What do you work for? What's your work? Now I'm interested.
Right now, it's called Sherwin-Williams. So they make
Paint?
we sell it to yes,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
we sell it to like painters and construction
Yeah,
workers.
yeah, we have it here also. yeah, the moment you said that, it's like
It's not what I
totally.
want to do long term, of course,
Yeah, I imagine it's like a part-time job.
but yeah. hmm there's a lot that come. A lot of the companies are run by Hispanic people. Like one of them, one of the owners' name is and he translates for a lot of his workers. And
What was his name? You cut it out for me.
oh, Iba.
Damn it.
So it's
it
Bibiano
cut out
painting,
again.
and a lot of the a lot
Ivan
of
what?
the a lot of the Spanish people, or not the Spanish people, a lot of the like, yeah. So we get some paint for Bibiano, and uh, the name, so it's funny.
yeah. Ivan
But
what?
Bibiano, B-I
Bibiano. You said that's the
Bibiano.
president or manager?
Yeah, he's the owner
I cannot.
company.
I cannot. Bibiano's grill. That. okay. Uh, nice business, I guess.
I hear them speaking a lot of Spanish, and I can understand a lot of it because my mom is bilingual, but I'm not responding to it.
oh, like you know what? Yeah, like with German, though, I'm learning German. Like I can tell what you're telling me. I cannot respond to it though.
hmm
it's like okay, cool. Now what do I do with this? Which I think I'm going to get better at that. Like
Exactly how I am.
right now, my problem with German is like understanding what you're telling me. Because right now, what you taught us first in German, I think, in my opinion, it's like we're gonna teach you how to respond, like how you can live there. You know, like we're gonna teach you the basics, so you cannot. So if, if you find yourself in Germany or any German speaking country, like you will not starve. Like yeah, that's pretty much it. So
Yeah,
we can actually answer you some stuff, but like right now, like
heck yeah.
the thing about German is like the dialects are really really confusing. Cause
I've heard.
I don't know if you were on the stream that day, but like Sanch told the stream like when he came to what's it called Canada, like
Canada. Yeah.
he couldn't understand a thing in school, and like what he referred to as his cell phone, people in Canada actually understood that was his laptop. Like it's really confusing.
Yeah.
Like it's like different dialects of the French.
I my yeah my dad lived in Austria for he knows German, and he was telling me about how different German is in Austria, like
Yeah,
the dialect and the compared to Germany.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I definitely understand
I've had
that.
exams like the exams are the worst part in German
Yeah,
because the speaker can be Austrian or German,
I hate exam.
and whichever German you you know,
Oh,
you either on the good side or on the bad side of the exam. Because last time I checked, I had a exam, but the
Man,
speaker was Austrian. And not gonna lie, I barely understood a thing. Like it's like, oh man,
super difficult. I get that.
like
But
yeah, the dialects are. He spoke weird. Even the teacher like, this is weird to me, and everyone was like, what
yeah.
is he saying? Like, we know what he's saying, but like, it was weird to figure out. Like, it was very weird the way he talked.
You definitely had to think very hard about it, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, because German the dialects or the pronunciation varies from state to state, from to country.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like you can hear someone uh, pronouncing the R really, really hard, like really hard, and in other states you can hear it like very soft. The way I pronounce it, like it's like an A. At least it's like an A, but in my it's like an A, like it's like an A, but in my country, like I see that an R, like from this word, I can type it up to you. From this, I just pronounce it like this. Like,
Wow.
yeah, and that's the way I was taught German. Also, I cannot pronounce a sentence with pronouncing the pronouncing an R really hard. Like, I cannot. Like, it's really hard for me. I tried it someday and like I couldn't. My tongue couldn't do it. I have to open my mouth to speak the R. Like I was like a man. I was like, nah, man. This
Language is funny.
like it was really hard for me. Like I would just sound dumb pronouncing it like an A in my language, but like it's pretty much easier.
True.
And also, my teacher told us like,
Sorry, I have to go eat.
what you gonna eat? What you gonna get?
Uh, I gotta go eat with a friend. I don't know where we're going yet.
Okay.
Lost track of time. And, but if you need any help with anything else ever, just let me know. I'd love to.
Yeah, no problem. I
Whatever.
will.
It was a
I
lot of
will be
fun.
sure to give you a call.
Yeah, let me know how it goes. I'm
I mean, I still need a one person, but it has to be from my country,
some
so
job. So
that's gonna be pretty easy.
okay.
Yeah,
So do you have you how many people? Do you only have to talk to two?
yeah, two people, one foreigner and
Three?
one from my country. Like
Okay.
we're pretty much that with this interview.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so are you gonna stream later?
And I will see you around. I will probably stream. Yeah, I'll probably stream in like an hour or so. So
Okay,
heck
I'll be sure to check you out. Okay, take care, man.
heck yes. Bye.